I swear to God, when I think this keeps getting to its absolute worst point, it just gets even worse. Guys, as you can see on top of this letter, it says, do not upload this letter online anywhere, please. And this is sent to Kenneth. Now, Kenneth, I guess, has gotten to the point where he's like, fuck this, I'm just uploading everything you send me online. And this is a pretty damning letter. Like, I know a lot of them have been, and I know a lot of people say, man, like, all these letters are bad. You say, like, everyone's crazier and crazier, they're all pretty crazy. This may be, again, the craziest one, because not only does Chris admit again that he's trying to get Barb out of there, but he admits this time that, yeah, she was completely out of her fucking mind, even, like, before August of last year. So she was, like, out of her mind, not even knowing where she was at back when Chris was doing the shit he was doing to her. A lot of shit we can look at today. This is going to be a long video because there's actually 2 sets of letters we're looking at, so tons of shit here. And this is the first letter after Chris found out that he was going to a grand jury, which is actually tomorrow, so we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But yeah, I'm just going to cut the bullshit and we're going to jump right into it. Let's go. Kenneth, I have just received your letter. Listen, Barb is stubborn out one thing, mainly her shallowness and her financial problems. Her shallowness? What? Like, how is... Okay, whatever, we're just gonna keep going. Hence why we have this Kickstarter page now to buy her out, so I can return home with her relocated. So, yeah, she's the shallow one, okay. She married Robert for the fact that he had the house to live in. Meditate on that. He's trying so hard with these last couple letters to paint Barb as like the worst person while he's a fucking saint. Now, we've all talked about this before. Barb is in no way, shape, or form an innocent party. I mean, this she kind of is, but like, she's a terrible mother. She is a terrible human being. And, you can't blame Chris for saying these things when most of them are true, but when he did what he did to her, I don't think he's the one to be saying this. Nonetheless, let's keep going, but, just meditate on that, guys. Just everyone fucking meditate on that one. But so, remember what I said in the beginning of the video that Chris basically admits to all this shit? Well, here we go. Also, Barb is literally a zombie-like living body with little remaining of Barbara, her soul, within her anymore. That living body is running on fumes at this point. She cannot drive anymore, regardless of van loss. She has the frigid mental activity and physical ability like a scared deer in headlights nearly all the time since even before June 2021. Dude, like, that's there it is. There's the smoking gun if he's not already fired it 70 fucking times before. He just admitted that his mom was not in the right headspace. She was like a scared deer in headlights, like she had looked in every single video that Chris has put up of her from the past 10 years. And she was like that even well before, even before June 2021, which is when he started fucking her. So, like, what are you to take from that? I know some people are going to like try to interpret this as, oh no, that's not what Chris means, but you sure, he is literally coming out and saying, yes, I fucked her, and, well, he's not saying that anymore, he's changing the story big time, but he is admitting that, yeah, she hasn't been herself in quite a long time, and, we all know what he did, even though he's saying now that he never did it. But just, goddamn, if Chris really felt like this then, if he knew that she was a deer in headlights, if she was a zombie-like living body who was, not herself anymore, and he did all this, that's just, like, that's the worst type of, it just proves that Chris has a little more of his wits about him when it comes to creepy shit. Like, when it came to getting a job and doing all that, he just, no, don't want to do that, don't have to do that. But when it comes to, fucking Barb, it's, well, she is kind of comatose, and, well, I probably could get away with it, and, well, she's kind of like a zombie. You can tell that's what's running through his fucking head when he was doing this. And I don't know why he'd just start the letter admitting this straight up. So, most of the time we wouldn't even get to see this. Kengel usually wouldn't release these things, but, I guess they are now because everyone's kind of amongst the same mindset of, fuck Chris if he's going to be just coming out and saying this shit. So, yeah. I don't really know how to sum this one up. It's just, again, Chris is going at Barb hard, saying that, she's the cause of all this, which a lot of people truly believe. A lot of people believe that Barb is the reason that, like, Chris grew up so fucked up, and it is. It is a big part of it, but like I said in last week's video, I don't think it's the same. Like, Chris is even admitting it right there. I know you can't take Chris's words for anything, but he's saying she's a zombie-like. She's not, her soul isn't there anymore. This isn't the same woman who was a shitty parent all those years. Chris goes on to say, and with gas prices these days, I doubt Harriet, Tom, and or Wayne are even driving up to Ruckersville to do much for her. Those are Barb's like relatives that have completely shut out the family until they found out about this, and then they were like kind of visiting Barb and helping her out. That's what at least Chris said in letters a few months ago, or at least it was determined that Chris said, because it was one of those things where he didn't want it to get out, but people looked at the letter in the envelope and like kind of put it upside down on the Kiwi farms, looked at it through like that type of lens, and they realized, oh yeah, look, there's the names Harriet, Tom, and shit like that. So now we know that, yeah, they were apparently visiting Barb, but like Chris says, they were driving up to Ruckersville with the gas prices they might not be anymore. They live in Midlothian and Chesterfield areas. Do you know how far that is from Ruckersville? The drive alone is as long as the American Rabbit movie. It's about an hour. It's about an hour drive, which, you know, that's for older people, that's definitely long. I mean, for anyone, that's kind of a long drive, but yeah, it's an hour. You'd think that, you know, the American Rabbit movie can't be that long anyway, but, you know, the way Chris makes it sound, like, do you know how far that is from Ruckersville? You'd think they lived in fucking Oklahoma or some shit, but I appreciate the idea of somewhere in a retirement community, but Barb is unable to be of such independence as she used to be. She is a literal shut-in at this point. She does not socialize with her neighbors in Ruckersville. So, like, once again, he's proven more and more why Barb shouldn't have been in this situation at all, you know? A lot of people have brought up, you know, well, wouldn't the mother be in, like, wouldn't the adult, well, even though both of them are fucking adults, but because incest is illegal, shouldn't the parent be the one charged instead of the younger person? Now, I don't know the logistics of that and how like the legal system works and who would be charged for what, but you see this, you read this, there's no fucking way anyone's gonna look at this and go, oh yeah, that's Barb's doing right there. Like this is just Chris admitting, like I said, his mom is so far gone. She can't even, like, she just doesn't do shit anymore. And for him to, you know, to be saying this all just a year after he did all the shit he did it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. Let's go to the next page. And let me tell you about attorneys, social workers, Region 10, and the jerk ops and the judicial system. Luke 11:45-54, with emphasis on hypocrisy as well as taking teachings and wisdom, and, in quotes, Chris writes, in one ear and out the other for the bulk of them. Like, if there's anyone's, like, opinion you want to take on, like, the, you know, things that they probably don't understand, it's Chris. And, he's about to give us, like, a lot of insight here into what's going on, I assume, to his best ability. I've let Heilberg, that's Chris's lawyer, do his work. He hardly keeps me updated or communicates with me. I wonder fucking why. He's frustrated at Region 10, that's a funny way to say myself, doing absolutely nothing. Social workers in Greene County and everywhere do absolutely nothing. And Western State Hospital, in his words, were supposed to place me in a group home, but to simply free up a room, they sent me back to jail, and not only do absolutely nothing, but abusive as fuck with their bondage/sadomasochism chairs, and arrogantly shit-minded with their patients, don't even realize a simple demon exorcism would have healed ABCD there. I don't know what this means. Well, why did Kengel put ABCD there? They would have healed there and helped Z to pick up at Z wound. Kengel, what the fuck? Why would I don't know what they're saying there, but above it, that's the first time I've heard Chris curse while in these letters. So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool to see Jesus say fuck. That's one thing I never thought I'd see. But for him to jump right to like, I don't know. He's just really mad about jail because they treated him like shit, and everyone's probably treating him like shit because he's a shithead. So yeah, but condescending, toxic staff, and if you have to go into all those details, the home health agencies over-highlight and advertise about themselves, then you may as well rebuke them in the same light as all of the others mentioned in this paragraph. When the fuck did he learn to write like that out of nowhere? Like, it goes from saying a demon exorcism would have helped to, you know, you should have rebuked the rest of them in this fucking paragraph, and this sounds so unlike Chris to write that. He probably is parroting it from his lawyer, but who knows? Who knows with Chris's, like, vernacular bullshit. I don't get why Kengel wrote, like, I crossed out those words up top. Maybe there were names. I don't know. But that's just weird, and that kind of threw me off completely. But, yeah, let's jump to the next page. And don't you judge Caden in that vein. He's not flawless, but he is more perfect of himself and at what now and how he does as a legit friend and in working on my behalf. He actually works well with his flaws and limits, and he's made breakthrough with Barb, and he is not intimidating. Alright, first off, there's a lot to unpack here. Once again, who the fuck is Caden? I know he's part of that, like, Prater group, the one that was, like, you know, it's that art group or whatever the fuck, the one, are they the ones selling, like, some shit on Etsy? They were in contact with Chris before he went to jail. Chris has said in letters that he met Bella through these people. What part does Caden have in this? The name Caden sounds biblical, if you're asking me. Maybe it's because it sounds like Caleb, but, like, I don't know. I can just see, like, Chris, like, here are my apostles, the apostle Caden, the apostle, you know, whatever the fuck, but it's just... I never know where he's going with this, but for him to bring up that Caden has made breakthroughs with Barb. Chris had asked these people, I believe, Kengel, Helena, and like all the people who write to Chris to get in touch with Barb, and all of them said no. Kengel said no, Helena said no, the Eels and Eggman dude, they all said no. Apparently this Caden fucker, though, is like, nah, fuck that, he's gonna call up Barb and see how she's been doing. But, I don't know no more about this, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. And if you look down a little bit below, I'm pretty sure you know where it's about to go. It always gets here one form or another in these letters. And Kenneth, I am Jesus. And I just love how he said, I am Jesus, guys, just in case you forgot. And I know from not only personal experiences, but I am one with everything in the prime timeline here. And I have foreseen and foreknown these possibilities, likelihoods, details, and repeated history and fulfilled prophecies. Babylon and Revelations, guess what? Russia is the modern day Babylon. Your mind's blown, ain't it, motherfucker? And damn are the toxic and evil ones in that cesspool of demons and devils of a lost country going to fall and burn. You bet Putin, Chris better hope Putin don't hear this, or else whatever jail cell he's in is going to get a rude awakening when Russia rolls up on them. You know, Chris talks a lot of shit. Chris talks a lot of shit about Russia in these letters. You know, I hope there's no Russian sonitude detractors out there who are just getting any ideas. Slow your roll, guys. And we gods not only believe and have faith in each other, prayers and miracle power, but we work with them. Work with who? The Russians? Like, what the fuck? I never get where he goes with this. Like, I know someone's probably going to write, like, no, he's talking about the other angels and gods or whatever, but, like, you can't just go from, like, talking mad shit about Russia to just jumping to, you know, and all those gods, like, we pray to each other and we just have the utmost faith in each other. Like, he's all over the fucking wall with this. But I digress. More than enough to wake you up, Kenneth Engelhart. You can relay the retirement community idea to Caden, but I tell you truth. Barb is not an independent as one of the background individuals as Abraham Simpson's retirement home. Where the fuck did Abraham Simpson come from? God damn it. Is that like a Simpsons reference? I've watched so much Simpsons, but like, is that... I don't think that's what the retirement home's called that Grandpa's in. It's not, right? Pretty sure it's not that retirement home. Maybe it's one just like randomly in Virginia, but when Chris says the word Simpsons, you know where your brain's immediately going to think, oh, he's just copying something from The Simpsons. I don't fucking know. Please work with Caden to raise that $150,000 and other good projects. Just, you know, just do it, guys. If you have a couple spare hours, just raise the $150K and just, you know, just give it to me because I need it and I can use it to put my mom just wherever the fuck while I gallivant in our decrepit house. Where is his... I'm not even going to ask it anymore. We all know where Chris's mind's at. It's fucking gone. Let's go to the last page of this letter, but we still have like 8 more pages to read after that, so, you know, it's gonna be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a real fucking fun one. And never, ever, 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 ever do anything talking of Sockness. Oh no. Sockness was worse evil than Putin. And now he is dead. Who told Chris that Sockness is dead? Well, either way, and he's also worse than Putin. That's the one I should be like kind of focusing on there, because, you know, Sockness. Socks. Every time I think of Sockness, bro, like everyone. I remember. I gotta go off on a tangent here. I remember when there was that time when Sockness was like making some journey to Chris's house to try to like fuck him or something, and people turned him away like mid pursuit. Like that was, I don't know. Everyone was so afraid of what was gonna happen to Chris around that time. All I ever thought was it was just gonna be Sockness and Chris yelling at each other on Chris's lawn. Just two fucking people not in the right state of mind yelling at each other, pretending they're wizards and shit. Like that episode of South Park where Cartman's fighting with the psychics. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking too lightly of it, but yeah, I always laugh when I think of Sockness. Like, what a dope. He's got to be like, he's the one person Chris is like all of Chris's like former, I guess you can call Sockness a troll, but he's like the one person in Chris's history who's like so, like there's a lot of completely inept people, a lot of dumbasses, you know, your Jack Thaddeus's, your Blue Spikes, but nobody was, I think, as on Chris's level as Sockness was. And I don't know, it always cracks me up. It's like the yin to Chris's yang. And but the last thing anyone wants is to resurrect an evil individual like Sockness. So do not make any website or web page about him. Period. Please. No more of this fucking forums. No more of your no more of your games with Sockness. Get him out of here. I've stayed in my peace for now. Thank you for thy help in the better and good projects, Kenneth. Be safe and well. And then we get possibly the most egregious, the most fucking just absurd, pretentious signature we've ever gotten of Chris's. You know, he's gotten better over the past few letters, I'll say that, because we went from calling him like 70 fucking names to now just going back to, you know, Mrs. Jesus Christ Chan Sonichu. And I thought that was where we were going to stay. But it's not. It's not where we're going to stay at all. Because Chris's new given name, I guess God name, whatever the fuck, is now Mrs. Jesus Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, the goddess blue heart of the Commodore console and the nations of Quickville and Old Kama, guardian of the Sonichu and Rosechu, species of Pokemon, the one avatar, Lord, Messiah, Savior, and God of all. Like, could you imagine having to write that on your like shit back at school? Like, just writing, like, your fucking name like that. And just, like, some kids I know had a really long last name, you know? But fuck. Like, just, Jesus. Come on. Come on now, guys. Way too much here. Way too much. I will say this. Look at Chris's handwriting. You know, it's all over the place, but the way he writes God of all is perfect. I mean, you tell me it's not. It's very good writing of God of all. I feel like he's been writing that still a lot. Probably all over his jail cell and shit. I'm the God of all, God of all. And it shows in his penmanship, because that's a very good 3 words right there, Chris. I'll say that. But now we jump to yet another letter that Chris sent to Helena, which I think is actually 2 fucking letters. One of them was sent out in June, and the next one was like after the next one was after the fucking trial again, or after the hearing back in July 28th. And so this one's, I think, in August. Sorry for slurring over my words here. I had to smoke a little bit after reading that last letter. That was too fucking much. You know, we found out that the health issues, ladies and gentlemen, seem to be getting better, by the way, for any of you guys asking that. I can take about a hit or 2 a night, which is great, because that's really all I need to just get my mind beaming right now. Okay, definitely shouldn't have taken that hit until I figured out what we were doing next, because we don't have about 8 more pages to read. This letter we're reading now was the blacked out part of a letter we read about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to link that video in the description down below if you want to go back and refresh yourself. It's like probably a 15-minute video, and I talk about it there that, you know, they had blanked out a big part of this letter that Chris did not want online. And this is from Helena and Eels and Eggman. And Helena decided, I guess, that she's going to drop it. So we're going to see if there's any good information here. But yeah, Chris, you can see it at the top here. This is just in the middle of a regular letter that Chris sent out, but he says, do not upload between the wavy lines. And as you can see on top, there's some wavy lines. And it's a few pages where Chris does not want this shit out there. So let's jump into it and see what he has to say. I need to state the preface, and this remains strictly offline for the time being in regards to my mentioned sacrifice. Oh God. August 2021. It's almost a year ago. I have gone over the following in my Goddess Log pages as roughly follows. I have seen into all of the possibilities and timelines for the outcome of August 2021. Betrayals. And the late Sockness's sorcery. Once again, even like a month ago. Why is he so adamant that Sockness is dead? Like, someone had to write him and tell him that. Sockness's sorcery and demons and ever-free Northwest aside. I'm sorry, but he meant to say Sockness's sorcery and demonics and ever-free Northwest, the fucking convention Chris was supposed to go to aside. Barbara and I have long been fated to be separated then. Period. If not for my soul bonding with her and mentally and emotionally healing her with talking of her past, she would have died in the vehicle accident with the van in August and not in November and survived. There were also outcomes of her landing in jail instead, dying by other fated happenings, or the very slight chance of moving in with another man out of attraction. So Barb at 80 was going to find a boyfriend and move out so Chris could have the house by himself, and then everything would have been cool. But that's just a slim chance that would have happened. The reason her body, at the least, check her aura, Helena, continues to have been alive and at the Sonichu Temple this long of time was in my own emotional and spiritual processes and developments. Had Everfree Northwest gone smoothly and well with my safe return home to the Sonichu Temple, Barbara would have been lost and prematurely migrated into her Rose-Chew form on C-197 Earth, and in brackets Chris writes, how I saved her, and I would have suffered emotionally and not have as successful an awakening, rebirth, and revelations as I had had. It would have been together on me, for I and my body had not fully appreciated our friends, allies, and social/business connections to properly prosper and pay off the remaining debts and mortgage. So, if Barb, I guess if Chris would have went to the Everfree, which he wanted to do last year, and he still kind of sounds salty about not being able to go, he would have, Barb would have died when she was supposed to, and, everything would have been good for Chris right now, I guess. Then at the bottom here, and this is crossed out, also, as I have stated in my Big Talk confession letter, I wonder what the fuck that is. We've probably already read that one before and don't even know it's the one Chris is talking about, but who cares? Barbara had become a burden of emotional weight on me. I think you became a burden of weight on her, literally. And when it comes to the legal restriction of the courts never going to allow her and I to be together in the same building, in brackets Chris writes, before the collective shift's completion and her full transition to her Rose-Chew body, as well as the present paradox, then that in all of the other pre-Second Coming timeline partitions, she and I were not to be together since last August, period. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm kind of choking up here, because I'm trying to understand this fully. What Chris is saying now is that yes, the courts are never going to allow him and Barb to be in the same place ever again. What does that tell you about the situation Chris is in right now? If they truly see him as that much of a danger that they'll never let him go back and see his mom, fuck. But he says, he's trying to retcon literally everything. Every single thing he can retcon, he's going to try to do it. Now he's saying that it's a good thing that happened, though, because, if they're not supposed to see each other after this date anyway, because she should have been dead by that point. So now this is the way of getting around her being dead. Do you know where Chris is going with this here? Neither do I, but it's quite clear that that's what he's trying to go with, even though it doesn't make any fucking sense. He's trying to use the excuse that, she'll become, we will get to see each other again, but that's when she's a fucking Rose-Chew. So, it's just more wishful thinking from Chris, still waiting on the day he can turn to a Sonichu and zap all these haters to the utmost extreme. In our time, my body and I have processed, cried, grieved, and accepted these facts, and her human body's relocation needs to happen before my body and I can return home at the Sonichu Temple. It's fated/evident. So basically, once again, what Chris is saying is she needs to die. Once she dies, Chris can go home. This is exactly what he said last week. It was just about, he wishes Barbara... he got more antsy in his letter last week, because this is from, a month ago, before he had really got, kind of fucked up with the whole thing about him maybe staying in jail and not getting out. But now, in the last letter, he was just writing about how, oh, fuck her, she needs to get out of this house. But it was clear that even a month ago he was saying this shit, but this just hadn't gotten out until, now. So, Chris is just all over the whole, he's over jail, obviously. He's been over jail since day one he's been in there. But now he's just looking for any fucking reason, anything he can say that will maybe convince someone or convince anybody to let him out. And like I said, right now he thinks that Barb dying is the answer, because if she dies, what's the reason for him to be in there? It's fated and evident that he is saying that. And maybe he's trying to get around saying that, but that's what he's saying. So when I had read of your prayer on top of the billions of heard prayers from our followers over these months, in regard of her and I getting back together, as well as the inquiry of are you excited to see your mom again, there is a deep emotional tick that gets triggered within my body because I consciously and unconsciously know these facts and divine details. That weird divine tick that gets triggered throughout his body is the reason Chris shouldn't be back with Barb, because that tick's going to go off every third night and you know it's going to happen. So I had made my own sacrifice to let Barbara go. So Chris's sacrifice at the end of the day isn't anything that he has to deal with. It's, well, I guess Barbara's got to suffer now, so see ya, bitch. To have her relocated is his way of saying dying, or what of the foreknown outcomes destiny and fate may manifest on her human body and what's left of her with the partial soul that lingers within her. He really has such a way with words when speaking about his own mother. Just fucking wow. Fortunately, I have my plans for after my return home throughout, including on debt and mortgage payments and settling. I'll have help on that as well. He's such a smug asshole, thinking like, I'm gonna get out of here and I'll have help with paying off my debts and my problems and all. He's so confident in that. And you know what? There probably are some weens that'll help him, but ain't no fucking person paying $150,000. Guarantee you that. Unfortunately, despite my directly telling her of the outcome of June 9th's court date... Wait, what? Like, was there a court date that we didn't know about, or is Chris miswriting that? Like, I assume there's maybe been a court date that we just didn't hear about or nothing, but who knows? The people find out everything about this shit. And giving her the choice to relocate herself so she didn't have to be forced 3 weeks later by Caden's confirmation, Barbara was still at the Sonichu Temple, redneck and stubborn. So last week people were saying when Chris called Barb a redneck in the letter, like, oh, who's the redneck he's saying is staying with her? And I said, no, it's definitely Barb who he's calling a redneck. And there you go. Yeah, she's a stubborn redneck. And this fucking Caden weirdo is apparently showing up at Chris's house to help him, like, spy on Barb and do all this weird shit. So, that's the one thing you can say for Kengel and them. At least they're not actually showing up at Chris's house and all this stuff. But just this Caden guy seems like he's doing a little too much for Chris here. It's kind of weird, but whatever. So giving him the list of her charitable crimes, what? Including pet negligence / mistreatment, suicide threats, emotional manipulation and abuse upon I, and ADA's law of using someone else's SSI, I have instructed Caden alone to call the police. Call the police on her. I keep this strictly offline, because I don't want the toxic ones abusing her directly. Really? Like, really? But you want to know the real reason Chris wants to keep this offline? Or any defacement of the Sonichu Temple itself or its property. Property span, as well as thieves. No good. I'm sorry, not thieves, thefts. As well as thefts. That's no good. Fuck, how do you even solve that last line? So now Chris is looking at Barb and saying, look, emotional manipulation and abuse upon me. So he wants this Caden dude to call the fucking cops on Barb and get her arrested too. So the cops go, hey, wait a minute, this guy's the real victim. That old lady, she's a piece of shit, which, we've gone over it tons of times. She is, but since, this is really what's going through Chris's mind right now. This is it's unfucking real. And the law of using someone else's SSI, wasn't Chris the one who pulled like money out of Barb's bank account the night that he had a protective order against her? So like, he's doing the classic Chris shit, the classic lolcow tactic of this forgetting about everything they're guilty of and blaming everyone else for the shit they are guilty of. And I love always says, I keep this in strictly offline. And these fuckers kept it offline for Chris. So, this would have been funny to laugh at a month ago, but we found it all out like a week ago. Same type of shit Chris was writing. But I love how he has the common sense and the courtesy to write, keep this offline, because we don't want the toxic ones abusing her directly like he wants Caden to do. But, and then the biggest thing is him just saying, no more defacement, theft, or nothing. He wants nothing gone from the Sonichu Temple. That's what he really wants at the end of the day. He wants to send people there, find out if Barb's there, get her arrested, but really make sure all my shit's still there. And as we've talked about before, who knows if it is or not, because there were a lot of trash bags out front of that house at one point. It looks cleared out from the weens who have gone and looked inside. So who knows? Who the fuck knows? But that's the end of this letter Chris did not want out, and you can see why he didn't want it out now, because it was the precursor to all the shit he was going to say in the letter a couple days ago. So just, more of Chris being a piece of shit. It's kind of a constant here, but he's breaking new barriers with his dickheadetry. Like it knows no bounds. He's constantly just going one up. I thought the Jesus shit was a one up, I thought the him wanting Joe Biden to give him a pardon was a one up. Now he's blaming his own mother for this and thinks that, she should have died, and when she does, I'll be all good and out of this. And now he wants to call the cops on her and try to get her arrested too. But that's that, ladies and gentlemen. It's more wacky bullshit, but I know y'all love hearing it, so I'll keep on supplying it for y'all. I'll push this shit for y'all. Let me give a shout out to Club Doom, the Ghostbusters fans, Scaly Schisms, the Ecto Spectre, Sky, Mick Surly, Cody Hale, your mom, Krabby, Worman Bjornson, Tyler, and all y'all who got to the end of this video. Y'all are goats as well. And I can't thank you enough for getting to the end of these. It's probably a lot to sit through with Chris's craziness and my high rambling bullshit. But, if you enjoy these videos at all, I'm glad about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's today's Sunday. Tomorrow is Chris's grand jury hearing. We'll most likely have a video out about that tomorrow. We'll let you know what's going on. But, yeah, just relax today, kick your feet up, have a nice final day of the weekend, and just relax, ladies and gentlemen, because the next one will be right around the corner. And everything's going to be cool. That's the one thing you got to remember in life. No matter what type of bullshit you face every day, at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, it might not be cool then, but in a couple days time, it'll be cool then. So just keep your head up, keep on pushing, and I hope to God that I see it's all in the next one, because love the community we've built here, and just love seeing all you guys in the comments every video. So I'm gonna get out of here now, and I hope you all take care, stay safe, and have a great rest of your days. Great hope you have a great next week too. Just be safe, my friends, and I'll catch y'all.